Marcel. Marcel the Magnificent, that's me. After our math club meeting, I head on over to barbecue. Slap a big slab of ribs on a plate. Take 15 orders at the same time. How do you want your ribs done, ma'am? Heat or no heat? Hot sauce or mild? We gotta blast off to outer space hot. Melt the roof of your mouth hot. Tar in the summertime hot. Red heels hot. Mama Thornton sings the blues hot. And just plain old hot. Which do you want? Yes, ma'am. Two singing the blues coming up. Napkins and forks right on the right side. Fire hose on the left. We aim to please at Willie Q's barbecue. You have a good day, too, ma'am. I slam the window shut. Feet up, butt down. My daddy, who everybody calls Willie Q, looks over from the grill where he is sweating and melting like tar in the summertime. He mops his face with a towel. Said you could take a break? Homework. I say, pointing. I got English, history, and a whole lot of math. Going for a world record in math. My daddy thunks the grill lid down and wipes his hands on his old blue apron. Willie Q's barbecue is going for the world record too, he says. $300 in sales today. Willie Q's barbecue is hot, hot, hot. You sell two more singing the blues, Marcel, and we are set for the night. We can go home and eat a pizza. He points at the school stuff beside my chair. Why you got so much homework? Ain't you been doing your work in school? And why you so late getting here to work today? You in some kind of trouble? On the back of an order pad, I do a quick sketch. We got a new math club at school, I tell Willie Q, trying to break a world record. They elected me prez. Got to take different colors of paper and make them into little shapes to look like this. I hold up my drawing. See? That's a pyramid, my daddy says. No, I show him. Tetrahedron. All triangles. See? My daddy smacks my arm. Don't you get too smart for Willie Q's barbecue, he tells me, because we don't need smart, we need sales. He crossed his arms and squints at me. How long this club gonna last, Marcel? You got a job to do. Hope you ain't forgetting that. I give him Marcel's special turn on the charm and give him the big pearly white smile. Same smile I use for when the grill's too slow or we got too many people waiting in line. Ain't gonna last very long, teacher says. Not that long. Willie Q don't fall for that smile, though. Better not, he warns, getting up and going back to the grill. Break's over. Get back to work, Marcel. Mr. Collins. Math problem to solve. Each level tetrahedron increases by a factor of 4. So in order to build a bigger tetrahedron, the students at Washington Middle School will need to add a new level and make 4 times as many pieces. If the California tetrahedron had 4,096 pieces, how many pieces will the Washington Middle School students need to make? James Harris III. Forget this. That's what I feel like telling Mr. Collins. We're sitting in the guidance office, and Collins says that I'm going to fail math for the first grading period because I'm not passing his tests and turning in any of the homework. He shows me all the empty boxes in his grade book. Like I care about those empty boxes. I'm very concerned about you, he tells me. He puts on that sad-eyed look that the teachers use to show they're concerned when they're really not. They're just worrying about the handing out too many F's and looking like bad teachers. I stare at the window behind Collins and think about how good it feels to jump up that window and send all the glass flying into the air like one of those jagged comic book pictures with the word crash written above it. Get out of school, Collins' class, all the other dumb teachers' classes, and never come back. Collins says if I start coming more often to his math club after school, he might let me pass the first grading period with a D. We need a lot more help with the project, he says, leaning back in his chair and waiting for me to answer. So, James, what do you think? Would you consider doing that or not? I think that telling Mr. Collins, give me an F, that I'd rather fail, that I don't feel like doing his dumb math homework or making his dumb pyramid either. Most days I got better things to do after school than sit with a bunch of losers. Even Terrell says he's thinking of dropping out because the girls are nothing special to look at. But I decided to play Collins' little game. How many days a week do I have to keep coming to the class to pass math? The teacher's eyes waver, like he hadn't thought of being asked this question. Every day you don't turn in your math homework, he answers finally. And how long I got to stay? Well, Collins' eyes glance toward the clock. 4 o'clock, how about that? Ain't staying past 3:45, I reply, staring out the window again. I got a life, and there ain't here in school. Collins shakes his head and gives me that sad eyes look again. He starts into a long speech about how he wishes he could make me see that his life would be so much different if I realized school was a way out. You got such a talent of art, he says. Don't you see that? You could go to college someday or some art school. I've heard the speech from teachers so many times I could give it to myself. Why don't they get it? Is I don't like school and I'm already good in art and there's nothing else I like learning about. They should see the wall of drawings I got in my uncle's place if they think I need to learn something. I snooze and count sheep in my head until Collins finishes. Can't stay until 4, I repeat again, and when he's done talking, gotta be home by 4. I got rules. That rules excuse was just a lie, of course. I didn't have no rules, not one. Me and my brother DJ lived with our uncle, who didn't care what we did. The real reason that I'd be back by 4 was that DJ and his friends always showed up at my uncle's place around then, and sometimes they'd let me hang out with them, if they didn't have plans. Plans meaning something they didn't want me to be part of. Most of my brother's friends were the kind of people you wouldn't want to mess with if you saw him on the street, especially Marquise. He's been kicked out of school already for the stuff he's done. Wouldn't that be nice, right? But the others were cool to me. When they saw me in the hall at school, they'd slam my shoulder and say, "Hey, little brother, wake up. What's happening?" 2 more years, I'd be one slamming into shoulders just like DJ and the others. The hallway would move apart to let me pass. Collins closes his gradebook with a thump, which brings me back to where we're at. "All right, James," he says with a sigh, "if you keep coming to math club and stay till 3:45, not 3:30 or 3:35 or 3:42 and a half, I'll give you a passing homework grade, but just for the marking period. And if you show up every day the club meets, do you understand that?" "Ain't coming on Saturday and Sunday," I say. "No way." Collins gives me a look. You know what I meant. As I walk out the door, I can't help but grinning to myself and jumping the high five at the top of the door frame. "See you later, Mr. Collins," I call out. "You have a good weekend now." See, Collins may be a math teacher, but he ain't very smart. All I said was I would show up from 3 to 3:45. I didn't agree to do nothing for the club. So I could waste 45 minutes drawing comics in the back of the classroom, and he'd still have to let me pass math. Man, DJ and his friends would say, "You are a genius." And I was. Mr. Collins. Another math problem to solve. If 7 students and their math teacher worked on building the giant tetrahedron from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday, and each person made about 30 small tetrahedrons, how long would it be until they reached their goal of 16,384? Extra credit. What if it is not that easy? Willie Q. Nothing gets by Sergeant Willie Q. Williams. I'm a Vietnam vet, so I see it all. You know what I mean? I was in the Army for 14 years, so I know a thing or two about kids. Kids not so much older than my son going to war got shut up and die. That's what I always tell Marcel. He may think he's smarter than me. He may think he can pull the wool over my eyes, but nothing gets by Willie Q. Williams. When I see Marcel coming in late work again, the 3rd time in a week, I pick up the phone and we use for taking orders and call his school. I ain't going to listen to another smooth excuse about why he's late. I know the streets and I know everybody in this neighborhood, good and bad, and I'll find out what he's been up to. And he'll think twice about lying to me again. What if he's doing drugs or hanging out with the wrong crowd? He'll be sweating over the grill at Willie Q's barbecue for the rest of his life. A lady answers at the school. "Good afternoon," I say. "This is Marcel Williams' father. Willie Q, is there a math class meeting there?" The lady says no, but not that she knows about. "There's basketball practice and cheerleading, that's all." I start counting on my fingers. One lie. "Is there a Mr. Collins there, a math teacher?" I wait for her to say no. There's nobody named Collins either, but she says, "Hold on." She'll page him on the loudspeaker. A customer walks up to takeout window, but I tell him to hang on and I stay on the line waiting. When Mr. Collins picks up the phone, I can tell right away he's a white guy. About 40 or 50 years old, maybe, at least the way he sounds like. I tell him that I'm calling to check to see if my son had an after-school math class of his, because it's what he's been telling me, and I want to find out if that's the truth or not. And I have to admit that it surprises me a little to hear the teacher say, yes, it's true. "What's the purpose of this club?" I ask. "Does Marcel need extra help in math? Is he failing or something?" Mr. Collins says, "No. This is some kind of test that the kids need to graduate?" Mr. Collins says, "No. This is some kind of self-esteem club like they're always pushing these kids these days to make black kids feel good about themselves." Mr. Collins says, "No. The kids are learning geometry and trying to break a math record set by a school in California." Same story Marcel gave me.